All right, it appears we have a bit of a developing story on our hands in regards to George Kittle and this ongoing contract situation. So let's get into it. Earlier this morning, Diana Rossini put out a report about effectively George Kittle's attendance and what that means for phase one of the 49ers offseason program. She said Brock Purdy's appearance at 49ers OTAs is a positive sign as extension talks continue between the San Francisco 49ers and its QB. George Kittle's absence is also contract related, sources say, and the two sides remain far apart. Now, this is in line with what we had heard from Mike Silver, I think just a couple days ago before phase one officially kicked off. And so it kind of aligned with that. George Kittle himself, the source, the man, he dropped under that tweet and he said, your source is incorrect. So, fascinating situation. Obviously, a lot is being made about George Kittle not showing. From my understanding, George Kittle has not attended phase one of the offseason program, I believe, for his whole career. I could be mistaken on that, but I do believe that is where he currently stands with this situation. So, contract related, not contract related, George Kittle just simply doesn't go to phase one. So, I think it does kind of feel like, because we do know he is looking for a new contract, that is true. We understand that to be the case. But it does feel like there's probably a little bit more emphasis being placed on him not showing up than there really should be. So, what do we take this as? Me personally, I do think that this is kind of getting blown out of proportion. I look at it as a situation as this is almost more par for the course than anything else. Now, yes, George Kittle is looking for a new contract. We all know that to be true. But is that why he's not showing up? Could be a part of it. But I also do believe that this is, like I mentioned, he doesn't go to phase one. So I don't think it's worth, throwing up our hands and, here we go again, another offseason contract situation. We'll have to get it figured out and get it squared away. But, hey, it's early on in the process. We know with the San Francisco 49ers, these extensions don't typically come this quickly, especially before the draft. So maybe around mandatory minicamp, OTAs could be a potential target, or maybe before the start of training camp. It is important to know that George Kittle still has 1 year left on his deal. So he is under contract. I don't expect he is going to go anywhere. So we'll see how that whole situation plays out. And as you can see, I am not in my home office right now. I am currently in the bowels of Lambeau Field. If you look directly down that hall, there is Lambeau Field. So I am here because I am obviously covering the NFL draft. This was a really cool experience so far. I'm going to be posting some content about some of the interviews I have gotten. Got to speak to Mason Graham, got to speak to Cam Ward, Tet McMillan. Tet gave a phenomenal quote about Jacob Cowing, so I'm really excited to share that with you. We got a couple guys, Ashton Genty. So it was really cool. We had about 30 minutes to be able to grab these prospects and get some questions in. I also asked a question to Daniel Jeremiah with the San Francisco 49ers picking at 11, who that person might be, because it's a really interesting spot, because there really are maybe about 9 to 10 potential blue chip players, and they might all be gone by the time the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. So with that being said, he gave me two names. One name that is a popular name amongst 49er fans, a second name that I think would surprise a bunch of people. An FCS player. He did mention ideally it would be a trade back scenario, but if they don't find a suitor, you might have to potentially think about taking this player there. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but at the end of the day, it was a phenomenal conversation. Obviously, I'm teasing right now. I will post this content later on the channel, but I do find the whole like George Kittle situation going back and forth interesting. But yeah, we'll have to see how this whole situation plays out. Obviously, there's a lot of things being thrown out right now, and we'll see what ultimately happens when it's all said and done. But you guys already know what to do. Make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.